Hey folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. And it's kind of late for me. In fact, it's very late. It's almost past my bed. Well, it's well past my bedtime. It's 10 minutes to 11, which is quite a turn up for the books that I'm still awake, though I am in my pajamas under this hoodie. I've just finished watching an excellent fight, a truly excellent fight. Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terrance Bud Crawford. Now, I had actually put money on Crawford, and I'd said that I was very much hoping Crawford would win. As I predicted Crawford to win. I was in a very small minority of people who was saying that. And I was, my fingers were very firmly crossed. I truly, deep down was thinking, oh, my money's gone. I've, whatever. But whenever I put a bet on, I assume my money is gone. There was a couple of the subscribers on the channel were saying also that they were thinking that Bud Crawford might win, but most of us were picking Canelo, right? And of course, I picked Crawford, and then we had Coach's Corner, and of course, Julian was picking Canelo. And I'm thinking, wow, well, that's another one that's saying that I'm wrong. And to be fair, I mean, it was really just an emotional thing that I wanted the underdog to win. If I'd been ever advising anybody to put a bet, I would have said probably put your money on Canelo. But it was a great fight, and Bud Crawford has done what many people thought was the impossible. Bud Crawford has, by unanimous decision, won the fight of, the fight of the decade, the fight of, I don't know what you're going to call it, but he won a truly excellent fight against Canelo. The first round I had for Canelo, second and third, and probably fourth I had for Bud. The fifth was Canelo. The sixth was Bud, and after that, I have to say, I kind of stopped scoring. I was just enthralled by the fight. I was talking to Julian McGowan, coach, right, on WhatsApp. It's the middle of the night with him. And I was saying, I feel like from an uneducated fan's perspective that Bud Crawford's winning, but every round I'm fearful of Canelo's power. And so I was sort of really watching on tenterhooks. You're like, oh, come on, oh, don't get hit. But there were times when Bud Crawford, he caught it flush from Canelo, and he seemed to be able to take Canelo's power. But what I really noticed was that Bud Crawford was simply outboxing Canelo. And he was tippy-tapping him all the time, and then there'd be a combination. He would catch Canelo flush. Canelo's probably, well, I can't think offhand of anybody who's got a better chin in boxing than Canelo Alvarez. There were a couple of times, or a couple of hooks, where it looked like Canelo was a little bit buzzed, which, from a guy who started his career as a lightweight, this is amazing, right? Honestly, as I was watching it, I was thinking, well, Bud Crawford surely deserves to win. He's just doing the better work. He's doing more work, more output. But then, Canelo would throw something, and it was really hard. And you think, oh, this is the beginning of the end. An excellent fight. Like I say, I guess it was the sixth round where Bud Crawford came out, and it was right, I've had a bad fifth round, relatively bad. I'm going to now reassert myself. And from that moment on, so from 7 through to 12, I put my pen and my notepad down, and I just sat there and watched it like a fan, absolutely enthralled. What a great fight. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's rare, well, maybe not rare. My fingers, I've been eating blueberries all night. It is quite common when a fight is so hyped and so much around it that it sort of doesn't really live up to expectations. But this fight absolutely did live up to expectations. It was a really, really, really good chess match, a boxing display. It wasn't a Tom and Jerry. It was Bud Crawford was there to earn respect. As somebody said, one of the commentators, in order to get ass, you've got to give ass. And I think that's quoting James Toney, actually. But anyhow, it was that kind of fight. Nobody was running. There was just good exchanges, combination exchanges. And at the end of the piece, just before the results were announced, I was thinking, as an uneducated fan, which is really what I am, I'm a very keen fan, right? I've been watching boxing for 55 years, but I don't have a professional qualification in boxing or anything like that. So I'm just saying, as an uneducated fan, I was thinking, Bud Crawford deserves to win. But then I was thinking, it's in Vegas and it's Canelo's hometown, and how will it look? I think, you could say, like 2 rounds, I thought, kind of separating it. But if it had gone the other way, I would have not been screaming robbery or anything like that. But at the end of the piece, I think the best man won. The best man on the night. And that's not taking anything away from Canelo. Canelo, well, as Bud Crawford said, at the end when he was being interviewed in the ring, I'm a fan of Canelo. Canelo's a great champion. And there was an obvious respect between them. But from these eyes, watching the fight as a fan, I thought that Bud Crawford was the deserved winner. And those, obviously, that was the view of the 3 judges. And a unanimous decision. Bud Crawford has done something that I can't think offhand of anybody who's gone from lightweight all the way now to super middleweight. He's the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. It's the very first time he's fought at 168. The last time, the previous heaviest he fought was 154 against Madrimov. And he didn't look that great. And, you're thinking, oh, wow, if he's struggling at 154, he's going to jump all the way to 168, without stopping at 160. Like I say, I was in the minority who thought that Bud Crawford could do it. But he did it. And I think now you can start talking about Bud Crawford in terms of all-time great. And as several people said on the commentary, which, by the way, I thought the Netflix commentary was very, very good. Better than the DAZN commentary, which kind of always rubs me the wrong way. But as somebody said, never has somebody so deep into their career gambled so much on their legacy. Because if Bud Crawford had been beaten, especially if he'd been beaten badly or stopped, a lot of people would have said, the first time he stepped up to anybody who was elite, he got beat. And now, high risk, right? But there's also high reward. Now people are going to say, wow, to win titles at, 135, 140, 147, and now 168, that's impressive. It really, truly is impressive. I think whether this is Bud Crawford's last fight or not, he's nearly 38. I think he's 38 next month. So he's very close to the end. People are going to say, wow, Bud Crawford beat Canelo. And Canelo's the younger man, remember? Canelo's 35. I think this is one hell of an achievement. The other thing is, if you're a boxing historian and you like the history of the game, you're not going to see fights with one guy with 60-something fights, one guy with 40-something fights. This is both these guys are yesterday's type of boxers in a way. Anyways, Bud Crawford now moves to 42-0. Having beaten Canelo Saul Alvarez, who many view as the best fighter in the world. Some people don't, of course, right? But even if you're not a Canelo fan, you have to say that Canelo's a great fighter. Bud Crawford just proved tonight that he was not just a better boxer, but that he was able to fight with Canelo, and he earned Canelo's respect. Take my hat off to him. I'm a couple of $100 better off than I was, which is always nice as well, especially as I also had some money on Lewis Crocker earlier in the day, so it's been like a woohoo day for me. But it was an excellent day of boxing. The Irish card was superb, and tonight's card was very, very good as well. And I thought the Netflix performance, the production, I guess is the word I'm looking for, was really good. Like I said, I enjoyed the commentary. I enjoyed everything about the show. So I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy, and I really, really enjoyed this fight, which was hyped a lot, and I'm super pleased to say, at least from my perspective as a fan, the hype delivered. The fight matched the hype. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe if you would like to. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. And now, after this is uploaded, I must hit the hay because, like I say, it's well past my bedtime, and horses will need to be fed in the morning regardless of what time I get to bed. Thanks so much for watching. Wherever you are in the world, have a fabulous day. Thank you.